the sit down all the way up to the direct indirect cost page. So yeah, guys, this is going to be a super important part. This is a lot of the times where you really you make the sell. Building rapport with people. A lot of sales are made in the intro as well too. So this is where you kind of cut them open when you're doing CPR and everything like that. So the way that I typically run it, whenever I sit down with somebody, I build a little bit more rapport with them. Even more so from doing the intro. I find out, hey, how long? And Jim, me and you can kind of role play a little bit if that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm sitting down with Jim, I'm like, all right, Jim, are you from this area originally?
No, actually, I'm not.
Oh, I got you. Where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, actually.
I got you. What brought you down to the Charlotte area?
Just girlfriend and I decided that this sounded like a pretty cool place, so we just picked up and moved.
Nice. How do you guys like it? How is it compared to Cleveland?
Oh, we love it. We love it. So much more sunshine. so much like there's a lot more friendlier people, you could say.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Is she from Cleveland as well, or is she from somewhere else?
No, she's actually from Georgia.
Georgia. Wow. I got you. Did you guys meet in Cleveland, or did you guys meet in Georgia?
Oh yeah, we met up in Cleveland.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And what does she do for work?
She works at the hospital up here in Charlotte.
Wow. What does she do at the hospital?
She was in the operating room as an anesthesia tech, so in there getting everything ready for everybody.
That's awesome, man. How long has she been doing that for? She like it?
Oh yeah, she loves it. She's been doing that for almost a year. Almost a year.
Nice, man. And which hospital did you say that she's at?
Right in downtown in Charlotte at Atrium Health.
I've actually got a couple clients there. There's one girl, Samantha. She's a nurse in the ER. She might know her. I'm not too sure, but that's totally cool, man. Yeah. So, Jim, for you and your girlfriend, who's the closest person to you guys that has ever gone through cancer?
Yeah, for me, I'd probably have to say my aunt.
Your aunt? Wow. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of cancer did she have?
It was some sort of brain cancer. I'm not entirely sure.
Really?
Oh
my gosh. Man, did she go through it for a while? Did she do okay? Did she pass? Or?
She did about 12 rounds of chemo. I think they did a little surgery, but she's doing all right. She's doing good.
Doing all right. That's awesome, man. I mean, that's great that she's doing good. About how many treatments did she have per week? Was it like 4 to 5 treatments per week, or?
I feel like it was about one a week.
Or do you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about one a week.
One a week. Okay, so you said about 12 rounds, so that's 12 total treatments. You think right off the top of your head? Mm-hmm. If you don't know, that's totally cool.
Yeah, I think it was about 12.
And you said that she did have surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. And you said that she did have surgery as well too. Did she have that locally, like at her local hospital, or did she have to travel to go get treatment? Do you know?
I think that they did it at the local one. She lives in Vermont, so I think they did it at the local one up there.
Okay, I got you. Well, man, I hate to hear that. That she had to go through that, but I'm glad that she's doing good for sure. Now, what about your girlfriend? Did she have any cancer on her side of the family that you know
of? You know what? I don't think so.
I got you. That's totally cool. No worries. Jim, what about heart disease? Anybody close to you guys? Heart attack, stroke, AFib, tachycardia, anything like that ever happened to your family members, friends?
Definitely. Long family history of heart disease.
Yeah, man, it runs in just about everybody's family for sure. Who's the closest person to you guys?
Yeah, definitely my dad.
Your dad? Wow. What kind? If you don't mind me asking, what kind did he have?
Yeah, he had a massive heart attack.
Jeez, man.
2016. Yep.
2016. Did he do okay?
No, he didn't make it.
Oh man, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hate to hear that. Jim, what about accidents and injuries? Any broken bones, torn
Oh yeah,
ACLs, anything like that ever happened to you guys?
I've broken plenty of bones.
Really? What's like the worst one that you broke?
Probably my femur.
Your femur? Oh, geez, man, what were you doing when you did that?
I was taking a hose to my mom's car in the garage, and I slipped and fell and broke my leg.
Oh, geez, man. How old were you?
I think I was about 5.
5. Wow. I got you, man. So Jim, for you guys out of cancer, heart disease, or having a serious accident, which one of those, Jim, would concern you guys the most?
Probably accidents.
Perfect, man. So I'm gonna show you that one. The great news is, Jim, they all work the exact same. But I'm gonna just start with this. Now, Jim, accidents are actually the leading cause of death in people between the ages of 1 and 44. That kind of surprises a lot of people. And the
Hmm.
average cost people pay when they have a bad accident is actually $6,700 that comes out of their checking account. Um, Now, Jim, there's a ton of different risk factors. Work is a big one. Home, and actually more accidents happen at home versus at work. It's kind of surprising to a lot of people. School, travel, slips and falls, poison, drowning, fire, burn, sports. Every 3 minutes, Jim, there will be an injury-related accident or death that will happen. Does that surprise you at all, man?
No, definitely not.
I got you. And the crazy news is how expensive they actually are. So, do you want me to do the indirect cost page? I don't mind to do that.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go for it.
I got you. So, Jim, man, the U.S. alone this year is going to spend over $1 trillion just paying for accidents alone. And Jim, there's two big costs that everybody is responsible for when a bad accident happened. And Jim, this is probably the most important page that I'm going to show you out of this entire presentation. So you have your direct cost, and then you have your indirect cost. Now, the direct cost, this is what your regular health insurance covers. You guys have what, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Perfect. Probably like an 80-20 plan, something right along those
Yeah.
lines.
Hmm.
Perfect. So that's going to take care of like your doctor bills, your hospital bills, medical charges, everything like that. We all know how that kind of circle works with that kind of insurance. And the great news is, Jim, we have nothing to do with that. We do help out a little bit with that, but what we're mostly concerned about, Jim, is that indirect cost. So, Jim, this is everything, man, that is going to fall onto your shoulders. So, Jim, God forbid, if you had a bad accident or a bad injury and it puts you out of work, let's say for 6 weeks to 6 months, how would that affect you financially?
Oh, terribly. I couldn't go without a paycheck for that long.
Yeah, man. For a lot of people, it would actually just crush them financially. So for you, Jim, are there any indirect costs that you can think of, like right off the top of your head? Like if you're out of work, like what's your biggest monthly kind of concern?
First thing that comes to mind is rent, and
Yeah,
then the second thing is truck payment. You know,
yeah,
those are two big things right there.
absolutely, man. Anything else?
Oh, got to keep the power on.
Yep,
I got to keep insurance on the truck.
yep, for sure.
Let's see, definitely still gonna be hungry, so still got to eat,
Yep,
still got to pay a bill there.
yeah, we all got to eat, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, guys, that's about it on the direct indirect cost page, and then usually I just swipe over and keep it moving. Um, but yeah, guys, the biggest part for me when I'm doing my intro is just I build a lot more rapport sitting down with somebody than I do when I'm standing up. And guys, I save that in my memory bank, for later on in the presentation, for sure. So when I'm going through the benefits with Jim, and I get to where it says that if you break your femur, we pay you out $10,000. I'm definitely talking to him about that. Like, Jim, man, God forbid, dude, if you ever break another femur, we're gonna pay you 10 grand for that. What could that do for you guys financially? And just everything that he told me in building rapport, I'm just putting in my memory bank, and I'm gonna pull that out later on in the presentation as well too. So, Jim, do you have anything else, man, that you want to add on that?
No, and that was great. I mean, the saving it in the memory bank is huge, because there's only so many little nuggets they're going to give you, throughout throughout building rapport and all that. And if you listen to them, then you can really hit home with it. You can really, make it feel real for them, to where they're now driving the car, they're test driving it, they're seeing what it would be like if they were really out of work for X amount of months, X amount of weeks. So it's really, really, really important to save those things that they tell you. It's like, if there's only 8 fish in the entire world, would you rather have them in a small pond or in a big wide ocean? So, CJ, that was great. So yeah, I mean, that's all I got to add to it.
Yeah, man. Hey Jim, real quick, man, how much rapport do you build with people whenever you first sit down with them as well?
Oh, tons. I mean, just exactly like that, because it shows them that you care, because they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And then yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
you're really just building that trust with them, because if we didn't do any rapport, if we just sat down with them like, all right, which one of these concern you? Like, immediately they'd be like, I don't know, none of them, But the more you talk to them, the more they open up, the more that their walls are going to come down, and it's going to be a lot easier for you throughout the rest of the demo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for you, Jim, man, do you read every single word, line for line when you're going through the first couple slides, or do you kind of summarize everything kind of like I did, or kind of what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely. I mean, it's kind of like a combination, because you don't want to act like you're reading every. Oh, are you talking about like the stats part? Yeah, I mean, I
Yep.
definitely use the $6,700 one, because that's the one that always jumps out to me the most. And I know a lot of people, money's a huge thing, and nobody wants to pay $6,700,
Yep.
for an accident, nonetheless. Like, I always tell people, you want to save that money for vacation or something for your kids or whatever it may be. You don't want to spend that on an accident.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And yeah, man, what is your direct indirect cost page? What does that kind of look like? Do you want to role play that one?
Yeah, so I mean, mine's very similar too. I mean, we got a lot of the very similar things here. Let's see. I think the only difference is that I don't ask them 6 weeks. I just say 6 months or longer. But the 6 weeks is good too, because an accident could only knock you out for 6 weeks, and
Yeah.
that's something that I definitely took away from it, that I might start implementing in my demos, because if you have an accident, the likelihood of you being out 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months is a lot longer than 6 months or longer.
Right. Right. That's kind of what I've picked up, what I've adopted with that as well too. If I'm talking about the cancer, the heart disease, I'm 6 months to a year. Well, the
Right.
accident one, it's more common to be out for a couple weeks versus 6 months or longer. So I've just kind of adapted that one as well too, man.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, man. Anything else, Jim, that you can think of that you want to touch on?
I mean, as far as the indirect cost page, I mean, it is the most important page that we go over, because it really puts it in perspective for these people. Like, everybody thinks that they have great health insurance, right? And that's totally cool to think that, right? But until we actually show them the iceberg, the bottom part of the iceberg is the biggest part, and that's the part that sunk the Titanic, y'all. So it's definitely going to sink you if you're not prepared for it. Because I know in the accidents it's like 823 billion or something. It's a crazy number. And the accident one really shows the biggest difference between the direct and indirect. So just really take your time on that page. Really emphasize the direct and indirect cost. And CJ, I like how you keep asking. People say, oh, my mortgage or my car payment. Like, what else? What else? Because the more they think about it, the more like, oh yeah, like, these things are still going to be coming.
Yeah, for sure. Jim, how often do you use names or show pictures whenever you first sit down with somebody too?
Every single demo, every single one. I don't usually go I mean, there's no reason for me to ever go a demo without showing a name or a picture. You know, just especially if I'm in a big business that I've already had people that I've signed up with, I'll show those people immediately. And then once we get down to the what our people are saying or what our customers are saying, then I show a lot more of them. But definitely if you're in a bigger business where you've already sold to some other coworkers, you definitely pull those up immediately.
Yep, 100%. Obviously with me driving to be on my phone, I wasn't able to really show pictures or, you know, do a whole lot with that, man. But I do that as well every single demo too. You know, right there in that front, that building rapport. Because guys, if you can connect names right there in the introduction to people, it's a no-brainer for people. You know, if they find out that their sister or their cousin or their ex-neighbor, you know, has this policy with us, then man, it's game over for them, you know, for sure. But yeah, guys, anything else, Jim, that you want to add or?
Not really. Does anybody have any questions for CJ or I before we wrap this up?
Yes, I definitely do, guys. That was really good, and I hope you guys have lots of good notes, guys. The whole purpose of CJ and Jim is for you guys to be writing down everything that they say and writing it down so you can use it today in the field. And so just a couple of quick notes. Upping your closing percentage. If you want to close more percentage of people, guys, it comes down to sharpening up your introduction and getting stories from them and getting them to getting the prospect. I liked it when he said getting the prospect to tell you the indirect cost instead of you telling them. So quick question. When you're on the iceberg page, how important for you is it to get them to tell you a few indirect costs before you flip the page and show it to them? How important? How long will you guys hang out on the iceberg page before you actually flip the page and show them what the indirect costs are? Because some people just okay.
Yeah, I mean it's uber important.
Yeah, it's super important.
That's good. So that is a hidden key, guys. Don't show them the indirect cost until they tell you them. That's how you win the game. If you tell them what the indirect costs are, you automatically lose. You're not gonna protect the family, almost guaranteed. Yep. So if you want to up your closing percentage, get them to think, paint the picture for them, and just use the words from the sales talk, and it'll bring it to life, and your closing percentage will increase dramatically.
Yeah, guys, and if they tell you, you know, their mortgage or their car payment, their utilities or food, and then, you know, you get that from them, you pull that out of them, and then you swipe to the next page, and then you read them what those indirect costs are, and they see everything that they just told you, the mortgage, the utilities, the car payments, the food, all you're doing right there is just reaffirming their need right there, 100%.
Yep. And there's one line, guys, in the sales talk, and you guys can see it, is after it says critical question 1, if you couldn't work for 6 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, how that impact your family, what bills would affect you the most? That's exactly what this is for. That line, guys, that's exactly what this is for. That's your transition line from the iceberg page to the next page, to when you're showing them the indirect costs. So if they said mortgage, or if they said car payment, or they said, yeah, my biggest bill is daycare, my biggest bill is food or gas, that's what this is for. That's why everybody here in Gastonia is signing up for this. That's why everybody here in Shelby, North Carolina is getting. That's why everybody here in Columbia is getting this. And then you flip the page. This is what it covers. That's your transition line from that page to the next page every time.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Guys, any questions, any feedback, takeaways from everything that me and Jim just went over?
No, but it was really, really helpful to watch y'all go through it and to see how y'all did it. It's kind of nice to be able to see other people do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I just like the refresher. Always things that you kind of forget. So thanks.
That was really good.
really appreciate all that info. I was just gonna add, I was talking to a cancer survivor last week, and he said one thing that people don't think about when they're going through cancer is that they have to buy a whole new wardrobe because they lose a lot of weight on chemotherapy. And that was a huge cost for him when he was going through it.
Sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, I really liked everything you guys did. I guess a question for me, when you're kind of in that transition, what is your body language look like, and what are you reading body language from your prospect? To know if they're really engaging. Maybe they are talking, but they look closed off. What do you look like, kind of physically wise?
Yeah, I mean, definitely,
For me,
still
I'm kind of
sitting
more
up tall. Go ahead, CJ.
Yep. I was gonna say I'm pretty neutral on everything, but the biggest thing for me is I'm nodding my head throughout most of my presentation. Kyle can kind of attest for this. I'm like a freaking bobblehead when I'm doing demos, and that just creates a yes for people. If you're sitting there nodding your head, people are more likely to nod their head or more likely to say yes. And whenever they're saying their mortgage, their car payment, I'm nodding my head. Yep, 100%. Yep, exactly. And that's reaffirming everything that they're sitting there telling me. Because I already know it. It's just them speaking it out loud, speaking it into existence for them, and I'm nodding my head to reaffirm all that.
For sure. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Guys, any other key takeaways before we wrap up?
Oh, that's awesome, you guys. It's really nice to hear you guys do the banter back and forth. So thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really liked how you said you build like more rapport if you're sitting down versus standing. That was like a kind of petty, insignificant tip, maybe, but it seemed really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I can't tell you how many times, and I know that Jim and Kyle have experienced it as well, where you go in front of a prospect and they're in a time crunch. They're trying to blow you off. Saying, "Oh, I only got I got 5 minutes to sit down with you." But guys, if you sit down with them and you build some really good rapport, don't be afraid to do that. That can extend the amount of time that they're going to give you significantly. I've had people that are like, "Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. We can sit down for 5 minutes." And then I've sat there and built rapport with them, got them to open up, got them to let their guard down, and sat down with them for an hour, and got them sold. But that's a huge way, guys, to open people up, is to build rapport. And it just goes along with, people knowing how much you care. That's a huge part about everything. And that's a huge part why we build rapport. If they find out that you actually care, that you actually, care about them and their situation and how it would impact them financially, they're going to give you more time. So that's one reason too, guys, why I build more rapport when I sit down with people, is to kind of extend my allotted time with that person.
For sure. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it is 8:27 and it is Tuesday this week. We have a lot of the week left. We've had some really good news to start the week off for yesterday. A lot of people had some really good Mondays. Let's go out there today, guys, and have a great Tuesday. Let's set ourselves up for a monster week for the rest of the week. Nail down those appointments, nail down those enrollments, and make them happen. We've all been so very blessed. It's going to be a blessing for everybody else. Leave people in a better mood than you found them. Make somebody smile today. Make somebody laugh today. Have a good time, guys. We do a really great thing. We hang out with really cool people every single day. And yeah, let's go have a great day.
Heck yeah. Thanks, CJ.
Whoop, whoop.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Have a great one.